One of the biggest financial lessons I've ever learned is this: assets make you rich. Liabilities make you poor. It might sound simple, but this mindset shift has completely changed my financial trajectory. Before understanding the difference between assets and liabilities, I was stuck in the rat race, living paycheck to paycheck, chasing things that ultimately drained my wealth rather than built it. In today's video, I'll walk you through the life-changing lesson I learned about assets and liabilities, and how this one principle turned my finances around. If you've ever wondered why no matter how much money you make, you still feel financially stuck, this video is for you. By the end, you'll know exactly how to build wealth the right way. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I've got more wealth building tips coming your way. Let's get started. 1. The difference between assets and liabilities. Let's start with the basics. What's the difference between assets and liabilities? It's a distinction that can make or break your financial future. Simply put, assets are things that put money in your pocket. These are investments or properties that generate income or appreciate in value. Liabilities, on the other hand, are things that take money out of your pocket. These are debts or expenses that cost you money over time without providing any return. For example, a rental property is an asset because it generates rental income, which puts money in your pocket. A car loan is a liability because, while it might look like an asset when you drive it, it requires monthly payments, maintenance, and insurance that drain your finances. This simple concept is something that took me years to truly grasp. But once I understood it, it radically changed how I spent my money, made investments, and built wealth. 2. Why I was always broke. My liabilities were holding me back. Before I understood the difference between assets and liabilities, I was caught in the cycle of buying things that didn't pay me back. I had credit card debt, car loans, and consumer goods that I thought would make me happy or successful. Little did I know, these liabilities were keeping me from achieving the financial freedom I craved. At one point, I had more liabilities than assets. I was working hard, making decent money, but it felt like I was always stuck. I'd get a paycheck, but by the time I paid off my bills and expenses, there was barely anything left to save or invest. The problem wasn't my income, it was my liabilities. I was living above my means, trying to impress others with things that didn't create any real wealth. The key to getting out of that financial hole was realizing that these liabilities weren't helping me, they were holding me back. 3. Shifting my focus to acquiring assets. Once I learned the importance of assets, I made a conscious decision to change how I spent my money. Instead of buying things that required me to pay more in monthly bills, like expensive cars or gadgets, I started focusing on acquiring assets. Things that would generate income, appreciate over time, or both. The first step was learning about different types of assets. Real estate became one of my primary focuses. I started looking into rental properties that could provide passive income. I didn't dive in blindly, but I educated myself on how rental properties work, the financing options, and the responsibilities involved. Stocks and investments also became a significant part of my strategy. I began investing in dividend-paying stocks and other forms of passive income. This wasn't about hitting a home run on risky trades, it was about buying quality assets that would steadily grow over time. I also started focusing on business ideas that could create an income stream for me. Owning a business is one of the most powerful ways to generate wealth, especially when the business operates with minimal day-to-day involvement from you. The more I accumulated assets, the more money started flowing in. Not from a paycheck, but from investments I had made, assets that continued to work for me. 4. Liabilities. How to minimize and eliminate them while acquiring assets was essential. Reducing liabilities was just as important. The key to getting ahead financially is to stop letting liabilities drain your wealth. The biggest step in reducing liabilities is to pay off high-interest debt as quickly as possible. The strategy I used involved aggressively paying off credit cards, personal loans, and even smaller debts that didn't add value to my life. Once I was debt-free, I could redirect that money towards building my portfolio of assets. Additionally, I learned to avoid bad liabilities in the future. Things like purchasing cars that I couldn't afford or taking on loans that didn't make financial sense became a thing of the past. I shifted my mindset to understand that just because I could buy something didn't mean I should. 5. Using assets to eliminate liabilities. As I acquired more assets, I was able to use the income from those assets to pay off remaining liabilities. For example, the rental income from a property covered my mortgage payments, which meant I wasn't paying out of pocket for that asset. Over time, as the property appreciated, I could sell it for a profit or use the equity to purchase more assets. I also reinvested the dividends from my stock portfolio back into more stocks, allowing my wealth to grow passively. This gave me the flexibility to continue buying assets, all while reducing the financial burden of any liabilities I still had. The beauty of this approach is that, over time, assets create more assets, and the cycle continues to build wealth. The more assets you have, the more income you have, and the less reliant you are on liabilities to survive. 6. The importance of mindset in building wealth. The key lesson here is that mindset matters. Once I understood the difference between assets and liabilities, I couldn't unsee it. I started thinking about everything in terms of whether it was helping me build wealth or draining it. It's easy to get caught up in consumerism and buy things for short-term satisfaction. But when you shift your mindset to focus on accumulating assets, your entire approach to money changes. You stop seeing debt as something normal, and you start seeing it as a tool that should be used strategically, if at all. This mindset shift helped me stop spending money on things that didn't pay me back and start investing in things that did. It's about making intentional, wealth-building decisions every day, even when it seems hard or uncomfortable. 7. The wealth-building formula: assets, liabilities plus mindset. In summary, the wealth-building formula that I follow is incredibly simple but incredibly powerful. Assets, liabilities plus mindset. At its core, this formula is about making a conscious effort to build assets while working on reducing liabilities. Assets are investments, properties, businesses, or anything that appreciates or generates income, while liabilities are debts or expenses that drain your wealth. By focusing on growing assets and minimizing liabilities, you set yourself up for long-term financial freedom. But here's the thing: it's not just about having a high-paying job or earning a six-figure salary. The real game changer is learning how to make your money work for you. This is what the wealthy understand and practice. Whether you're working, sleeping, or even on vacation, your assets should continue to grow and generate income. This is how they create real, lasting wealth that compounds over time. You're not dependent on your paycheck. Your money is working for you in the background, allowing you to focus on what matters most in life. If I can leave you with one piece of advice, it's this: start building assets now, and get rid of the liabilities that drain your finances. Whether you're in your 20s, 30s, or beyond, you have the power to change your financial future. By focusing on assets and maintaining the right mindset, you can unlock true financial freedom. If you found this lesson helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who could benefit from understanding the difference between assets and liabilities. There's more wealth-building content on the way, so stay tuned.